Hey folks, it's me, Psyking, and in today's Dev Diary, I want to take you along on a test flight for one of the missions in my upcoming A-10 Fulda Gap 85 campaign. This campaign is set in a fictional Cold War gone hot scenario. You are a young A-10 pilot deployed to Sembach, Germany, fighting through the first 7 days of a Warsaw Pact invasion. Because of this semi-historical setting, the campaign was originally built around the A-10A. However, since the A-10A is only available as Flaming Cliff module, you are free to choose whichever A-10 variant you prefer, even if that means sacrificing a bit of historical accuracy. Just like in my previous campaigns, the main focus here is on gameplay, storytelling, and accessibility. In today's test flight, I'll show you what it looks like when a mission is flown the very first time after the initial mission editor work is complete. So everything about to see today is still work in progress, so that's still pure test mode. But it should give you a solid first impression of where the mission is heading. You'll notice a few cuts and pauses throughout the video. That's simply because I regularly take some notes during testing or already adjust something on the fly. But that's enough talking, let's get started.
I heard that too. Civilians packed on the Rhine crossings, traffic jam for miles. Must be chaos. Feels like the Soviets are unstoppable.
Yeah, they definitely prepared that whole thing for a long time. But let's focus now. I will request taxi. Sembach Tower, Hog 2 flight. 2A10 at parking spots 31 and 32. Request taxi to active.
Hawk 2 flight, Sembach Tower, clear to taxi. Follow Foxtrot, Echo and Delta to active 07.
Roger, Tower. Taxi to 07 via Foxtrot, Echo, and Delta. Hog 2.
While we are taxiing out, a quick note on aircraft skins. The campaign represents the 81st Tactical Fighter Wing, which had 8 A-10s deployed to Sembach as quick reaction force during the Cold War. If you are interested in the historical background of the 81st in Sembach, you will find more details in the campaign documentation. For this scenario, we now have historically fitting skins, created with the help of Bandog, a very talented DCS skin designer. However, when I recorded this footage, those skins were still work in progress. I actually received them after the video had already been captured. So what you're seeing here isn't the final look. But as a little preview, here are a few screenshots of the finished version. And in one of the next videos, I will show them in more detail.
Taxi go 1-1, airborne.
Hog 2 flight at hold short Alpha and ready for departure.
Oh, and here we need your new voiceover. As you can see, we are at Delta and Machak says Alpha.
Hawk 2 flight, Sembach Tower. Line up, wind is 022 at 6 knots. Altimeter 29997. Cleared for takeoff, runway 07.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 07. Hog 2.
Hog 2, airborne. Arco 1-1, airborne.
Hog 2-2. Airborne.
Continue. When passing exit point, switch to magic on 348.7.
Wilco, Hog 2.
Field 1 is RTB at 3,500.
Sembach Tower, Hog 2 flight. Passing exit. Leaving your control zone and switching to magic.
Clear to leave. Good luck out there.
Hog 2. Magic, Hog 2. 2 times a 10. Just airborne from Sembach. Checking in for CAS operations in Frankfurt.
Hawk 2, Magic, Suite. Continue as fragged and stand by for C-Trap.
Okay, listen up. Here's the plan. We'll proceed to our brief holding and check in with the ground controller call sign Reaper. You will provide targets. The target area is heavily contested. Expect AAA, man pads, and possible shore at depth. Likely positioned behind the forward enemy element. We'll be operating in urban terrain. Try to minimize collateral damage. Most civilians have evacuated, but we must avoid unnecessary destruction. Focus on precise attacks. We will conduct attacks in alternating shooter-cover pairs. Any questions?
Copy all. Hey, Mud Shark. Looks like you're leaking something on your left wing. I see some white smoke. Maybe it's fuel or coolant. Check your systems.
While we are having our little incident with Machak here, let's talk about the overall campaign and mission design approach. Because the campaign supports multiple A-10 variants, a few compromises had to be made. For example, radio transmissions are simplified, they are delivered as standard audio instead of being fully simulated through the in-game radio system. But that said, if you are flying a full fidelity module, you still need to make sure you are tuned into the correct frequency. In most missions you will fly as number 2. Your flight lead call sign Mudshak will guide you through the missions and provide structure along the way. All taskings are clearly presented during the missions through voiceovers and keyboard pages. Additional background information can be found in the campaign documentation. Radio procedures are also simplified. For example, there's no ground agent at the airfield, and authentications with AVAX or JTAG isn't required. And since the campaign is set in 1985, the modern 9-line format used in today's CAS operation wasn't in place at that time.
Magic, Hog 2-2, approaching AO. Contacting ground forces and proceeding with tasking.
Hawk 2-2, Magic. Copy, continue. Monitor this frequency for AO and airspace updates.
Hog 2-2. Reaper, Hog 2-2, checking in single A-10. Hog 2-1 is returning to base due to technical problems. Hog 2-2 is loaded with 4 times Maverick, 4 times Mark 82, unguided rockets, and a full gun. Inbound to holding and ready for tasking.
Hog 2-2 Reaper, g'day, single flight copy. Was planning with a 2-ship, but okay, let's see what we can do. Ready for the Caspery?
Hog 2, ready to copy.
Hog 2 Reaper, sitrep. Enemy forces have reached the outskirts of Frankfurt. Fighting is ongoing in city roads. The enemy continues to advance. We've managed to hold their advance between the town of Bischofheim and Frankfurt Bishop. Reference point for today's operation is Gate, the eastern rail sidings in Frankfurt-Bischofheim north of the Half Basins. Can you confirm visual on Gate?
As you probably noticed in that last segment, a few things are still broken, especially the timing of the voiceovers and the subtitles. Some lines get cut off, and in other cases the subtitles stay on screen for too long. Reaper's voiceover also need another pass. The volume levels aren't quite right yet, so I'll be reworking and rebalancing those. I also noticed that some of the background action, like the ongoing fighting on the outskirts of the city, isn't as visible as I like it to be. So that's exactly why I do all the test flights.
Hog 2, visual on reference point.
Texaco 1-1, passing waypoint 1 at 13,000. Texaco 1-1, on station at Bullseye 246, for 600 at 13,000.
Friendly positions are in the houses at the east side of Bischofheim. Soviet forces are advancing along the A-66. We're taking mortar fire and enemy infantry. Known threats are AAA and manpads about 1 nautical miles east of our position at the western edge of Bischofheim, adjacent to the Main River. We also suspect shore-ran systems further east behind Bischofheim, so do not overfly.
Hog 2 copies. Friendly positions on the eastern edge of Feckenheim. AAA, 1 nautical mile east of Gate.
Highest priority is the anti-air position, so I'll task you on that first. Reaper is unable to mark the target from here. Maintain holding pattern and prepare for target talk. Request a single AGM-65 man group for the anti-air site. Target position is 1 nautical mile east of Gate. From Gate, follow the rail east to the edge of Bischofheim. Target is at the western edge between the rail line and the Main River. Can you confirm tally on the target?
Here again, there were a few timing issues with the voiceovers and the subtitles. On top of that, the target isn't quite visible enough for someone who has to locate it based on the description alone. Trees partially block the line of sight, and especially the A-10's A-Maverick screen target acquisition is more difficult than intended. That's something I'll need to address and make the objectives more clearer without making it too easy.
That is your target. Final attack heading from 080 to 100. Egress back west to holding after weapons release.
Copy. Running in on target.
Hog 2, you are cleared hot.
Cleared hot.
Now I can also see my frame rate is dropping slightly, especially when looking towards the city and the target area. I suspect that is caused by the simulated battles taking place around the city. I may have to scale those back a bit since you can only see part of them anyway. If you look closely, you will notice occasional explosions, impacts and small engagements happening in the outskirts. They add atmosphere, but I need to make sure they don't come at the cost of performance. Here we have our first engagement. You can still see the active debug messages running. Through a Lua script I'm tracking various player events and, in this case, the launch of the Maverick. The launch is supposed to trigger a rifle call voiceover. But as you can see and hear, the voice line seems to be missing here, and the error message appears. I'm also not sure why the target is already damaged. It looks like it may have taken some unintended fire from another blue unit. So also something to check.
Triple E and manpan position destroyed. Good work. Return to holding and stand by for further target torpedoes.
Hog 2, returning to holding.
Hog 2, Reaper, new target, enemy mortar position. Request 2 Mark 82s on the target. Target position, bearing 067, 1.2 nautical miles from gate. The mortar is located just...
There were also some timing issues again with the voiceovers and subtitles. Right now I'm trying to locate the mortar position visually. Since they are actively firing, I'm scanning the area for muzzle flashes in the general direction described. You could also try to pick up the mortar position using your Maverick camera.
Hog 2, tally target. Mortar position confirmed north of the rail line, just north of that destroyed AAA.
Copy. Final attack heading from 080 to 100. Egress west back to holding after weapons release. You are cleared hot.
Cleared hot. Rolling in with 2 Mark 82.
Just like in my previous campaign Northern Defenders, a cheat menu is available here as well. So if you want to make yourself invulnerable, you can activate that option through the F10 radio menu. For today's test flights, I will be using it, simply because I want to complete the mission and verify all triggers are working as intended, and this makes it more sure I will do.
Hawk 2-2, pick up.
Hog 2, Reaper, good hits on target. The mortar side is on fire. Return to holding and stand by for further...
Here's something I think ED really needs to take another look at. Some time ago the splash damage of bombs was adjusted and increased, but in my opinion it might be a bit overdone at the moment. As you can see, the entire area is burning. With just 2 Mark 82s, I've basically wiped out half of the town. That level of destruction feels excessive and probably deserved
Hog 2,
another
Reaper, quick
balancing.
situation update. Enemy air defenses appear suppressed or destroyed and the mortar fire has stopped. However, we're now taking small arms fire. Russian infantry has managed to enter the first row of houses in Feshno. Friendly troops in contact and need immediate support. 2 T-72s are pushing the advance. The armor must be engaged immediately. Stand by for torpedo. Hog 2, Reaper, new tasking. Request 2 times Maverick. 2 T-72s advancing west along the Bischofsheim-Fessenheim Road, direct north of the Main River. Trace of fire from friendly positions should mark the general area.
Hog 2, tally tanks on the road north of the main river. Visual on tracer fire.
Copy tally. Your final attack heading is from 080 to 100. reverse west, back to holding. Hog 2, you are cleared hot until both tanks are destroyed.
Hog 2, cleared hot. Engaging.
Here I'm also not entirely happy with the unit placement. They are quite hard to spot from the air, especially as long they are on the road. On the other hand, just moments later, they will already reach their static fire position, so I decide to make another pass. So I need to think about the position again, because for me it's always easy to spot because I know where to look, but the final player doesn't know. So, and it also seems that the marking tracer's fire isn't working properly, which make visual identification even harder than intended.
Yes, good hits. T-72s are burning. That takes a lot of pressure off our guys. You've just given them some breathing room.
Okay folks, I hope this gave you a good insight into what one of these early test flights looks like and where the campaign is heading. We will stop the video at that point, so there might be 1 or 2 surprises waiting later in the mission, and I don't want to give away everything just yet. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like, and if you want to follow the development of the campaign, consider subscribing, and you don't miss any upcoming video. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Until next time, psyching out.